All right, Cody, stop the music, please. Stop the music. Yeah, it's Real Truth. It's Howard Real. It's Tuesday. We're back from the Labor Day weekend, and I got no time for intro music because there are absolutely stunning things happening in the world, and if they were good things, you probably wouldn't be hearing about them on my show. They're bad things. Item from PamelaGeller.com headline. Raging horror confirmed at Austria-Italy border. Mideast Muslim refugees go on a rampage. Pam Geller writes, here's a first-hand account of what I've been describing and writing about for well over a week now, the Muslim invasion of Europe. I quote, half an hour ago on the border between Italy and Austria, I saw a huge crowd of immigrants. With all solidarity to people in difficult circumstances, I have to say that what I saw arouses horror. This huge mass of people, sorry, but it's an absolute wilderness. Vulgar, throwing bottles, shouting, we want Germany. So what, Germany is now a paradise? I saw an elderly Italian woman in a car that was surrounded by the immigrants. They pulled her out by the hair and wanted to use it to go to Germany. They tried to topple the bus I was in. They threw feces at us, banging on the door for the driver to open it, spat on the glass. My question is, for what purpose? How do they want to assimilate in Germany? For a moment, I felt like I was in a war zone. I really feel sorry for these people, but if they would reach Poland, I do not think they would receive any understanding from us. We spent 3 hours on the border but failed to get through. The whole bunch was later transported back to Italy by the police. The bus is butchered, feces smeared, scratched, broken windows. And this is supposed to be an idea for the demographics? These big, powerful hordes? Among them, there were almost no women and children. The vast majority were aggressive young men. Just yesterday, I read the news on all the websites with real compassion, worried about their fate. And today, after what I saw, I am just afraid. And I'm happy they do not choose our country as their destination. We Poles are simply not ready to accept these people, neither culturally nor financially. I do not know if anyone is ready. A giant pathology is approaching the EU, one which we have never seen before, and sorry if anyone is offended by this entry. A car with humanitarian aid came, food and water. They just toppled it and stole everything. With megaphones, the Austrians announced the message that there's consensus for them to cross over the border. They wanted to register them and let them go on, but they did not understand these messages. None. And it was all the greatest horror. From those few thousand people, nobody understood Italian, nor English, nor German, Russian, Spanish. What mattered was the law of the fist. They fought for permission to move on, but they were already allowed to do so. They did not understand that. They broke into the French bus. Everything was stolen in a short time. Never in my short life I had no opportunity to watch such scenes, and I feel that this is just the beginning. On a final note, it is worth helping, but not at any price. Stop. My friends, what we're seeing is absolutely amazing. We're seeing many countries in Europe committing suicide. We're seeing America slowly, more slowly than those in Europe, true, but anyway, committing suicide by allowing hundreds of thousands of these animals into our borders. They bring nothing except violence, disease, and need, and an expectation to be put on the welfare roll so they can sit and eat. And by the way, while they're here, hate our country and infiltrate our country and try and bring our country down so they can fly the flag of Allah over it. Well, my friends, as you know, if you've listened to the show for any time, I have no real sympathy for Germany. As far as I'm concerned, they can burn, but they serve as a lesson for America and for Canada and for Israel. This is an invasion. Make no mistake about it. These are not families fleeing tyranny, because there are no families. And the tyranny that exists in the Middle East is the same tyranny they've had for thousands of years, because that's what the Arabs are, and that's what they do, and that's how they live. This is an invasion, pure and simple. Case in point, Item from a website called NowTheEndBegins.com. Headline: Germany just spent $6.6 billion to become a Muslim nation. I quote, "You have to hand it to the Muslims. They crafted an excellent plan of attack, have stuck with it no matter the opposition, and now they have been rewarded for their efforts with the grand prize that they have sought. Germany just became a Muslim nation. All they had to do was execute biological jihad by swarming the borders. For every 6 legitimate Muslim migrant refugees," in quotes, "they have 4 ISIS terrorists hiding, slithering alongside with them. So out of a group of 800,000 migrant refugees, approximately 360,000 of them have terror connections. It will only be a matter of months, maybe even mere weeks, before this teeming sea of Muslim immigrants begins to demand concessions to Islam, halal food, and eventually Sharia law within the German court system. Germany just sealed its own doom with a stroke of the pen. Peace in our time." The European Union's top prosecutor says she's been told that Islamic State terrorists are being smuggled across the Mediterranean, hidden among migrants. Germany will spend about $6.6 billion to cope with some 800,000 mostly Muslim migrants and refugees expected to have crossed into the country by the end of 2015, the government said on Monday. The announcement by Chancellor Angela Merkel's coalition government came after Germany and neighboring Austria threw open their borders to the wave of refugees making their way north and west from the Middle East and Africa. Unquote, related item from InfoWars: a Muslim, quote, refugee arriving in Budapest, Hungary as part of the wave of migrants entering Europe was caught on camera giving what some have claimed represents a beheading gesture. The clip shows a Hungarian TV reporter standing in front of piles of clothes and other personal items used by migrants while they are at Budapest train station. The camera then pans around to a young man who appears keen to send a message. He then draws his hand across his throat. Unquote. My friends, make no mistake, this is an invasion. The Western nations are being invaded by people who hate them, want to destroy them, and want to kill their citizens and take whatever they have as their own. Now, for third world hordes to try and jump borders is not new. For the Western countries to allow these hordes by the hundreds of thousands to enter and basically take what they want through intimidation and violence is unprecedented, certainly in my lifetime, and I can't remember reading about it either. It is mass suicide. It's Tuesday, it's Real Truth, and we'll be back. So don't go anywhere.
How many times have you gone into a health food store and are confused as to the many different brands and prices on the same herbal supplement? You want to buy the cheapest, but you're afraid that quality is less. So you buy the most expensive. Truth is, the cheapest may be better. These herbal supplements are all manufactured in our weekly Colorado plant at 4565 Tinkley Street using the highest quality herb that we source from all over the world. Our 150
interest in the big story.
Hi guys, welcome back to Real Truth. Howard Riell. Let's get right into it. Headline: Further migrants influx will be disastrous for Europe, according to a French official. This comes from RT Russia Today. Kevin Owen is interviewing, let's see, it doesn't matter who he's interviewing. Let's listen. What matters is what's being said here.
Again today in Hungary, they're the migrant crisis.
My friends, if you don't speak these languages, you're not alone. They're all saying, all these officials, Belgium and elsewhere, are saying that they refuse to sign an agreement to take a certain quota number of migrants. My friends, I'm looking at this video and it's all young males and almost all Muslim. These are the guys who become the terrorists. These are the guys who do the beheading and the suicide bombing. These are the hordes, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of these potential terrorists flocking into Europe, and Europe, with its usual wisdom, is throwing open the gates and allowing these people in. Let's finish up this report.
Apply for asylum. On one side,
It is a disaster for the future of Europe. Well, I don't give a rat's ass about Europe, but it's a disaster for the future of America and also for Israel, which has been having its own disaster for decades. They also have a migrant horde. The Palestinians, there is no such thing as a Palestinian, but these are all Muslims, the Palestinians, who migrated to Israel during the centuries when the Jews were gone because they'd been banished long ago by the Romans. Now that the Jews came back to their homeland, these migrants, these squatters are still there, and it's exactly the same people who are flooding into Germany and into Budapest. It's the same people. It's the same horde. Which people is it? It's the people we're trying to defend ourselves against. It's the people who join ISIS, who travel to Syria to fight. These are them. And the fact that the doors have been thrown over is not going to make them say, gee, what nice folks they are. Let's be good Germans, or let's be good whatever. Because you and I both know the obvious, that Muslims don't assimilate. They come and they sit and they create a little bit of the Muslim ummah there. They insist on Sharia law, and rape goes up and crime goes up and shootings go up and cars begin burning, and that's how the world works. Are we going to be smarter than Europe? Are we going to see the chaos that's erupting here and do nothing about it when it comes to our own borders? Forget about the Muslim hordes. What about the people coming from South and Central America and through Mexico, many of whom are Muslims, these same people? What are we doing about them? Well, we're doing nothing about them, just like Europe is doing nothing. It is an invasion, nothing more than or nor less than that. And if we don't accept it on those terms, that we've got our heads stuck in the sand. And as a people, we will deserve what we get. Item from PamelaGeller.com. Hate crimes against London's Jewish minority have surged over the last 12 months with an increase of 93.4%, according to figures from the Metropolitan Police. In the 12 months from July 2014, police recorded 499 anti-Semitic crimes in London compared to 258 in the same period the preceding year. The boroughs worst affected were Hackney and Barnet, where respectively 122 and 120 instances were reported. Excuse me. In a statement to IB Times UK, the Met attributed the rise to several factors, including increased reporting, but said the greater focus on the capital's 250,000-strong Jewish communities in the wake of events elsewhere has led to the spike. In light of recent world events, we know communities in London are feeling anxious, the Met statement said. Local neighborhood policing teams are providing a more targeted presence in key areas at key times, such as school routes, holy days, and prayer times to give extra reassurance, unquote. What's missing here? What word is missing here? Trying to find the cause. What could be the cause? It's absolutely stupid, and worse, because this stupidity will get people killed. The cause is Islam. The cause is Muslims. Why does no one have the guts to say it? Well, I do. And I'm saying it, and everyone listening to me knows it's right. So why won't leaders there and leaders here say it? It is the shocking disgrace of our time. when enemies come up against us to destroy us and we capitulate. Historians will be scratching their heads trying to figure out what the hell we were doing. You know what? I'm scratching my head too because I don't know either. Item from mrctv.org. Radical feminist activist, Guardian writer, and self-proclaimed political lesbian Julie Bindel has stated she wants to put men in, quote, some kind of camp and hopes, quote, heterosexuality doesn't survive women's liberation. In an interview with Rad Fem Collective, a, quote, group of committed grassroots radical feminists from across England and the Celtic states, unquote, Bindel described her beliefs on issues such as political lesbianism, the, quote, need to dismantle gender, and whether heterosexuality will survive women's liberation. During the interview, Bindel was asked explicitly, will heterosexuality survive women's liberation? She responded, quote, it won't. Not unless men get their act together, have their power taken from them, and behave themselves, unquote. Yes, sir, Commandant Bindel. Item from InfoWars Dateline Las Vegas. Metro Sergeant John Sheehan said 2 officers were heading to a disturbance call headed northbound on Tropicana and stopped at a red light to turn westbound on Tropicana when they were approached by a man with a semi-automatic handgun who began firing on them. He said one officer was hit in the hand and the other officer was able to chase the suspect a short distance before apprehending him. Sheehan said it appears that the officers did not fire any shots. Unquote. My friends, why suddenly are we seeing in the news every couple of days Americans shooting at police officers? I have no idea. Unless it could be the tasers and the pepper spray and the batons and the brutality and the intimidation and arresting people for nothing and shutting down lemonade stands. Possible. Item from the Associated Press, Dateline Mexico City. A federal judge in Mexico has started proceedings against 4 officials accused of aiding the escape of drug lord Joaquin El Chapo Guzman from a maximum security prison. The Federal Judicial Council said in a statement Monday that 2 of those charged are members of the Mexican Intelligence Service who worked at the prison and 2 who were prison employees in the control room. Guzman stated through a tunnel dug to his cell on escaped through a tunnel dug to his cell on July 11th. Unquote. My friends, the liberals among us, the politicians, they can't wait to bring more and more and more Mexican nationals into our country, and this is what those Mexican nationals are bringing with them. A society, a culture in which bribes rule the day. You get whatever you can, you grab what you can, drug lords are freed so they can continue to prey on people, behead people, hang them from bridges. This is the third world horror that we, some of us at least, are inviting into this country. And that's why we absolutely, positively have got to elect a president who says that this flow must stop. He wants to build the border and have 0 illegal immigrants arriving in the United States. Because, my friends, if we keep going the way we are, we will be Europe. Item from The Guardian. The killing of 2 British citizens in a targeted drone strike in Syria marks a major departure for the UK. While killing its own citizens by missiles fired from drones is not new for the U.S., this is the first time such an attack has been carried out by Britain. The attack that killed Britain's Riyad Khan and Ruhul Amin in a vehicle near Raqqa on 21 August was carried out by a Reaper drone. Stop! My friends, I've compressed this article. You don't get to the Muslim names of these Britons until way down in the article. Up at the beginning, which is what most people read only, they're referred to as British citizens. Why? Because the people at The Guardian, the editors, judge that the need for security, for tight border control, for safety among the men, women, and children living in Britain, well, that comes second. We can deal with that later. That's not so important. The important thing is to be politically correct. PC comes first. Innocent lives come second. That's the insanity of Europe. And to some degree, at least, it's the insanity of America. We'll take a break. Real Truth marches on.
Rick providing reliable electrical power systems in the Rocky Mountain area since 1992. Our systems rely on the sun to help make you self-reliant for your power needs. Solar energy can be scaled to fit any situation, from complete power independence to backup power for the short term. Our expertise focuses on standalone power, but we have extensive experience with utility interactive systems as well. Custom catered capabilities as modest as emergency lighting all the way to commercial scale power. Great Plains Power is a full service company. We service everything we sell. We provide and design turnkey packages, custom design system, and parts for do-it-yourself. With more than 20 years of specialized experience at your disposal, let us know what your power concerns or goals are. Reach us by phone or the internet. Call 303-239-9963. That's 303-239-9963. Or go to GreatPlainsSolar.com. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Tom Pills, founder of the Green Earth. Well, it had to happen. The Colorado legalized marijuana. Most people thought the Green Earth was a marijuana dispensary. Also, it was legalized on January the 1st, 2014. The same day we opened our new location at 4565 Kiffin Street, 1.5 miles south of I-70. There are 83,000 cars a day passing in front of our new location on Kiffin Street, and most of them thought we were a marijuana dispensary. So we changed the name of our retail store to New Genesis Health, but we kept the name of our Green Herb Supplements. So when you come to our new location, look for our new name, New Genesis Health, or call us at 888-765-HERB. That's 888-765-4372. And be sure to listen to the Healthy Nature Show with Linda Phillips every Tuesday at 1 p.m. And of His fullness we have all received, and grace for grace. For the law was given through Moses, but grace and truth came through Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus the Christ. No one has seen God at any time. The only begotten Son, who is in the bosom of the Father, He has declared Him. The Gospel of John, chapter 1, verse 16. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just power from the consent of the governed. This is the American News Network.
All right, guys, welcome back. I am Howard Riell. The show is called Real Truth. We were off yesterday, so you didn't miss anything. It was Labor Day. We're back now. And, of course, as always, I'll be posting a video of the first 37 or so minutes of the show on Facebook and on YouTube and on Tumblr. And so after the show, a few hours from now, I guess, by the time we get around to it, look at it, listen to it again just so you memorize it, share it with everybody you know, get the word out, and start breathing some real anger at those who are destroying our society. And really, it is that dramatic. Here is On Point with Sarah Palin, her guest, a guy named Donald Trump.
I don't like what I see happening to America. The infrastructure of And you know, as of 2 weeks ago, they had the 2 weeks ago on Wednesday, they had their longest wait in the history of the Veterans Administration. People wait 5 days, 2 days, 3 days to see a doctor in a waiting room, and sometimes at the end of that long wait, they wouldn't even get to see a doctor. The vets that was treated terribly. If I win, if I get the nomination and ultimately win, believe me, the vets will be taken care of. And I do have a relationship with them. I see the relationship. I feel it. They did a poll recently, and I'm very popular with the vets because they know how it makes the Veterans Administration. It disgraces the way the vets have been treated in America. They're great people, and they're treated very badly.
And they are great people, and they're wonderful. And you know, the reason that it's been this undercurrent problem and scandal in the VA is because vets don't complain about minors, and here it's up to us then to figure out what the problem is and then to fix it. More about the campaign trail. You're seeing some idiots in the press, and they're misrepresenting your exchange, like the other day where you really flashed this tower of the Flint Staffer Univision's Corleone, and he was screaming at the activists. And it was the right thing to do because I don't think he's going to pull that in the end. Where'd you get your guts for that kind of necessary confrontation?
Well, you know, the press was very good to me on that one because he was totally out of line. He was screaming and ranting and raving. And I actually said, who is this guy? Then I figured it out. And, you know, suing Univision actually had gotten him over the top. His daughter works for the news, Linda, and he was trying to put on a show. But actually, he was hurting the rest because the room was packed with various people from the press. It was a press conference, and they were all being, you know, they were waiting. And I was going to ask that I would have gotten to him, but he stood up and started screaming all over the place. And frankly, Sarah, the press was pretty good to me on that. I mean, they agreed with what I did. I never raised my voice or anything, but they agreed, generally speaking, with what I did. So, yeah.
And I would agree just when it comes to the Canadian press, the way it is, and sometimes they're not going to treat conservatives, he never trusts them. So you get hit with these gotchas, like most conservatives do. For instance, they ask me, what's your favorite Bible verse? And I listen to that and I go like, what do they ask Hillary that? What does it have to do with running for the office of the presidency? Is it anybody's business? These gotcha questions really kind of get you, us, anybody running for office off game. How are you finding that?
Well, my friends, let me say something about this because she's raising a very good point. These gotcha questions. Why do they ask them? It's easy. Because Americans listen to them. Americans want to know them. Americans will, in many cases, base their decision on who to vote for on gotcha questions. That whole thing about Romney a few years ago, what he said during a private conversation, that became a central issue. Not his policies, not what he wanted to accomplish, not how he would accomplish, but one of those gotcha moments. And my friends, we have had too many gotcha moments, and we're focusing too much on them instead of substantive issues that will make or break this country. We'll take a break. We'll be back. Real Truth continues. All right, guys, this is where the video ends. I'm going to post it as soon as I can. Watch it, listen to it, share it with people. Got to talk about these things. They may not be as interesting as the Kardashians' backsides, but I leave it to your good judgment to decide that. Hasta luego.